Welcome in, everyone. We're diving deep today into Raja Yoga meditation.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah, I think this will be a good one. So we're looking at Eternity in Ink, a handy book of meditations for this deep dive. Um, and what's cool about this is it's not just about the physical poses and all that. It
Yeah.
goes way deeper. It gets into the mental training, the thoughts behind it all.
Hmm.
So we're going to be exploring all that today.
Absolutely. And it's not just for, finding a quiet corner and meditating. It's really about how to kind of integrate these principles into, your everyday life.
Yeah. And that's kind of what I thought was so interesting is this idea that the world is a stage and
Yeah.
we're all actors.
Right.
And we've all heard that expression before.
Yeah.
But this book really dives into how to understand that from a Raja Yoga perspective
Hmm.
and how that can be really transformative.
Yeah, it's an amazing analogy for detaching from like all the drama and the stress of everyday life. If you think about it, if you're an actor playing a role,
Right.
you don't take the character's problems home with you, right?
And Raja Yoga helps us apply that same detachment to our own lives
Yeah.
so we can observe our experiences with more, objectivity
Right.
and less emotional reactivity.
So instead of getting totally swept up in like a stressful situation at work,
Exactly.
I can kind of remind myself, okay, this is just a scene in the play of my life.
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
playing the role of like stressed employee right now, but it's not who I truly am.
Exactly. And that shift in perspective is so freeing
Yeah.
because it allows you to kind of, navigate challenges with more grace and resilience.
Makes total sense. So the book also starts off with this really basic question, who am I?
Right.
And, I feel like I have some idea, but
Yeah.
how does Raja Yoga approach this?
So Raja Yoga challenges us to look beyond just the physical body and our roles and even our thoughts and emotions. And it says that the true you is your soul,
Okay.
which is a point of pure energy and light that resides in this physical form. So it's not about, what I do or what I have or even what I think, but about recognizing that there's this deeper part of myself
Exactly.
that's like unchanging and eternal.
Precisely. Yeah. And the book describes this soul as a point of light. It's often visualized at the center of the forehead,
Okay.
the third eye. It's from this point that you observe the world, direct your actions, and connect to your true self.
Okay. I've heard about the third eye before, but I never really got what it meant. Like, it sounds like it's more than just a mystical kind of concept. It's like a practical tool.
Absolutely.
Yep.
When you connect with your soul, you tap into its inherent qualities.
Yeah.
Peace, love, truth, happiness, purity, and bliss-filled silence.
Wow, that's incredible. It's like having this inner sanctuary
Yeah.
I can go to whenever things get too crazy. But where do we actually go when we connect with our soul? Is it just a state of mind, or is there like a specific place?
Well, the book describes a realm called the soul world. It's a dimension of golden red light where souls reside when they're not inhabiting physical bodies.
Okay.
And it's depicted as a realm of pure peace and silence, where there's no conflict or suffering.
Wow. That sounds pretty amazing.
It is.
So it's like we have a home base in this other dimension, and when we meditate or connect with our soul, we're tapping into that
Yeah.
and bringing it back into the world.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's like recharging your batteries
Okay.
in this spiritual oasis, and then coming back to the world with renewed energy and clarity.
So if this soul world is our true home, like what's the point of being here?
Well, Raja Yoga suggests that we're here to learn, grow, and evolve our souls through experience. You can think of it as a kind of cosmic training ground
Right.
where we face challenges, develop virtues, and ultimately realize our full potential.
So instead of seeing life as just this random series of events, I can see it as a purposeful journey of soul growth. Yeah, it's starting to make a little more sense. Now, the book also brings up this idea of silence.
Yes.
I mean, I get that it can be calming, but is there more to it than that?
In Raja Yoga, silence isn't just the absence of noise, it's a state of deep inner stillness
Okay.
where the mind is quiet and the soul can shine through. It's the gateway to experiencing those inherent qualities, the peace, love, and bliss.
So it's like hitting the pause button on all that mental chatter
Yeah.
that's constantly running
Yeah.
and allowing us to tap into that deeper awareness.
Exactly. And the beauty of Raja Yoga is that it provides practical techniques for accessing that inner silence quickly.
Okay, so even if I only have a few minutes, I
Absolutely.
can still benefit.
You don't need to become a hermit and live in a cave to experience the transformative power of silence. Raja Yoga teaches us how to integrate it into our daily lives.
Okay. That's good to hear. So what kind of techniques are we talking about here?
Well, Raja Yoga offers a variety of techniques, and we'll explore them more as we go. But one of the simplest and most powerful is the practice of becoming a detached observer.
A detached observer. What's that about?
So it's about witnessing your thoughts and emotions without judgment or attachment. Like imagine you're watching clouds drift across the sky.
Okay.
You don't try to control them, you simply observe them as they come and go.
So it's about creating some space between myself and my thoughts and feelings
Yeah, exactly.
rather than getting caught up in them.
Exactly. And by practicing this detached observation, you develop a sense of inner peace and stability.
This is starting to make a lot of sense. Can we take a minute and actually experience this feeling of connecting with our soul?
Of course, let's take a few deep breaths together and turn our attention inward.
Okay.
Now imagine diving deep within yourself, past the thoughts and emotions, past the physical sensations, to that point of light at the center of your forehead.
Okay. I'm feeling my breath slowing down, and I'm starting to sense this subtle energy in my forehead.
Good. Just allow yourself to rest in that space of pure awareness. Just be present with the feeling of your soul, that essential spark of divine light within you.
Okay. I'm feeling very peaceful.
And remember, this feeling is always available to you. You can return to this inner sanctuary anytime.
This is amazing. I already feel like I'm getting some really valuable tools for creating more peace in my life. I can't wait to hear more about the other aspects of Raja Yoga.
Me too. Next, we're going to be looking at how understanding ourselves as souls changes our relationship with God.
Sounds fascinating. Let's do it.
Yeah. Now that we've kind of explored this concept of the soul as our true identity, let's dive into how Raja Yoga views our relationship with God.
You know, I've always struggled with the idea of God. It always felt a little too abstract and distant.
Yeah, that's a pretty common experience, especially in today's world. But Raja Yoga offers a very practical and accessible approach to connecting with the divine.
Okay, I'm intrigued. How does Raja Yoga define God? Is it like a specific deity or more of a universal concept?
In Raja Yoga, God is understood as the supreme soul, the source of all spiritual light and power. So it's not about worshiping a figure in a physical form. It's more about connecting with that infinite energy,
Okay.
that boundless source of love and peace and wisdom.
So it's more about tapping into like a universal force or energy
Exactly.
rather than adhering to a specific religious dogma.
Exactly. And the book gives this really cool visualization technique for experiencing this connection. Instead of picturing a human-like figure, you imagine God as this radiant, pure light.
Okay, that makes it a lot more tangible, I think. So what's the purpose of visualizing God in this way? What does it actually do for us?
So the book describes it as diving deep into an ocean of divine qualities. Imagine immersing yourself in that light and feeling it permeates your entire being, washing away any negativity or limitations.
Wow, I can already feel a sense of peace just thinking about that. It's
Yeah.
like a spiritual cleansing.
Precisely. And the beauty of it is that it's not a selfish pursuit. As you connect with that divine source and absorb its positive energy, you naturally start to radiate those qualities outwards.
So it's not just about receiving, but also about becoming a conduit for those positive vibrations.
Yeah.
I like that. The book also uses the analogy of a lighthouse, guiding others towards safety.
Yes,
It reminds me of that quote, be the change you want to see in the world.
that's a perfect connection. By embodying those divine qualities, we become beacons of light, inspiring and uplifting those around us.
Speaking of inspiring others, the book mentions this practice of sending good wishes and positive vibrations to others. It sounds pretty straightforward, but is there like a specific technique involved?
It's about consciously directing those good wishes, infused with the power you receive from connecting with God, outwards towards others. It's like amplifying the good vibes and extending them to all beings.
Does it matter who we send these good wishes to? Can we send them to people we don't know or even people who haven't been so kind to us?
Raja Yoga encourages us to send good wishes to everyone, regardless of their actions or beliefs.
Okay.
It's about recognizing the inherent goodness within every soul, even those who might be acting out of ignorance or pain.
That's a powerful practice. It reminds me of the concept of unconditional love. It's not about condoning harmful actions, but about recognizing the potential for transformation in every being.
Exactly. And by sending out those positive vibrations, we're contributing to a more harmonious and compassionate world.
Now, the book also talks about different relationships we can have with God. Father, mother, teacher, guide.
Right.
Why are there so many? I've never thought about it that way before.
Well, each relationship fulfills a different need and provides a unique perspective on our connection with the divine. For example, when you're seeking guidance and wisdom, you might connect with God as your teacher. Or when you need comfort and nurturing, you might connect with God as your mother.
So instead of having one fixed idea of God, we can access different aspects of the divine depending on what we need at the moment.
Exactly. And it allows for a more personal and intimate connection.
I'd love to experience this. Could we try a short visualization where we connect with God as a teacher and then as a mother?
Absolutely. Let's take a few deep breaths and close our eyes. First, imagine yourself sitting at the feet of a wise and loving teacher. This teacher just radiates an aura of peace and knowledge and understanding.
Okay.
Now ask this teacher any question that's been weighing on your mind and listen for the answer in your heart.
Okay, I'm feeling very calm as I sit with this teacher. I'm asking my question. It's not a specific answer, but more of a feeling of knowing and trust.
Now let go of that image and imagine yourself being embraced by a loving mother. Feel her warmth and compassion enveloping you, soothing away any fears or worries. Allow yourself to rest in her unconditional love, feeling completely safe and nurtured.
Wow, this feels totally different. It's like this feeling of pure love and acceptance.
Notice that shift in energy between those two relationships.
Mm.
Both are aspects of the divine, but they offer unique qualities and support.
That's an incredible experience.
Yeah.
It really highlights how personal our connection with God can be. I never realized how much there is to explore in this relationship.
And that's just the beginning. As you continue to practice Raja Yoga and deepen your connection with the divine, you'll discover even more facets of this relationship.
This is really eye-opening. How do we bring this God consciousness into our daily lives? I mean, it's one thing to feel connected during meditation, but how do we keep that going when we're dealing with work and relationships and all the challenges of everyday life?
That's a great question. It brings us to the concept of God consciousness. It's about bringing that inner awareness of your connection with the divine into every moment, every interaction. Imagine approaching every situation, every person, with that sense of love, compassion, and understanding.
So it's not about being in a constant state of bliss, but about bringing that divine energy into our actions. It's about seeing the spark of God in everyone we meet, even the people who challenge us.
Exactly. And the book uses this beautiful analogy to illustrate this. It describes the soul as a tiny lamp and God as the sun. When we connect with God, it's like our lamp is being lit by the sun's rays. We then become a source of light ourselves, sharing that radiance with the world.
I love that imagery. It reminds me of that saying, let your light shine.
Exactly. And as we cultivate this God consciousness, our light becomes brighter and stronger, illuminating not only our own path, but also the paths of those around us.
The book uses this phrase, becoming the child. What does that mean in Raja Yoga? It seems a little counterintuitive when we're talking about self-mastery.
It's about surrendering your ego and experiencing the world with the pure joy and innocence of a child. You know how a child trusts completely in their parents' love and care?
Right.
That's the idea.
So it's about letting go of control and surrendering to a higher power, trusting that we're being guided and supported on our journey.
Exactly. And that surrender lets us experience the world with more lightness and joy. We're not carrying that burden of worry and responsibility all the time.
It's like stepping off the hamster wheel of our thoughts and desires
Exactly.
and allowing ourselves to be carried by a greater flow.
And in that surrender, we find this profound peace and freedom.
This has been so insightful. It's really shifted my perspective from viewing God as this distant concept to experiencing the divine as a real presence in my life.
And that shift in perspective is the essence of Raja Yoga. It's about moving beyond intellectual understanding to a direct experience of spiritual truth.
I'm ready to dive deeper into the practical techniques for deepening this connection. But first, can you elaborate on that term, God consciousness?
Of course, God consciousness is about holding on to that awareness of your connection with the divine, even when you're busy with everyday life.
Okay.
It's about bringing that inner peace and clarity into every interaction, every situation.
So it's not about withdrawing from the world, but about bringing that divine energy into everything we do.
Exactly. Imagine approaching every encounter, every task, with a sense of love, compassion, and understanding. You're seeing the spark of God in everyone you meet.
That sounds challenging, but also incredibly rewarding. It's like elevating our everyday experiences.
Exactly. And as you cultivate God consciousness, you'll find that even the most mundane tasks become infused with meaning and joy.
This is really inspiring. I can see how integrating these principles could lead to a much more fulfilling life. Before we move on, can we take a moment to practice bringing this God consciousness into our experience right now?
Absolutely. Let's close our eyes for a moment and take a few deep breaths. As you inhale, Imagine drawing in the love and light of the divine. As you exhale, imagine that love and light radiating outwards, filling the space around you.
Okay, I'm feeling this warmth and radiance expanding within me.
Now bring to mind someone you care about. Imagine sending them that same love and light, wishing them peace, happiness, and well-being.
Okay, I'm picturing my best friend. It feels really good to share this energy.
Now expand that circle of love to include all beings, near and far. Imagine sending your love and light to everyone in the world, wishing them peace, harmony, and enlightenment.
Wow, this feels amazing. I feel this sense of connection to something much larger than myself.
And remember, this feeling of connection is always available to you. You can access it anytime, anywhere.
This is truly transformative. I'm starting to see how Raja Yoga is not just about meditation, but about cultivating a whole new way of being in the world. I'm excited to explore how these principles can be applied to our journey through time, which is the next topic the book covers. Ready to delve into the Raja Yoga perspective on time and karma?
Absolutely. Let's journey back into eternity in ink and unravel the mysteries of time and destiny.
All right, let's unpack this whole cyclical time thing. The idea that time isn't just a straight line, but a repeating cycle is kind of blowing my mind a little bit.
Yeah, it's definitely a different way of looking at things. Raja Yoga describes time as this eternal cycle spinning through four distinct ages: golden, silver, copper, and iron. Each age has its own, unique characteristics and spiritual energy.
So it's like a cosmic Ferris wheel, constantly turning and taking us through these different phases. Tell me about these ages. Where does it all begin?
It all starts with the golden age. It's a time of perfect harmony where souls are naturally pure and peaceful. The book talks about a society where everyone experiences, peace, love, truth, happiness. Imagine a world where nature is in balance and there's no need for spiritual searching because everyone's already there.
Wow, that sounds pretty amazing. But if it's so perfect, why do we ever leave?
Well, think of it this way. Pure gold is super valuable, but it's also really soft. To make it more durable, you add other metals to create an alloy.
Right.
In the same way, as souls go through rebirth after rebirth, that initial purity of the golden age starts to get diluted. We start to identify more with the physical world, and we forget our true spiritual nature.
So the shine wears off a bit. Is that when we enter the Silver Age?
Exactly. The Silver Age is still a time of prosperity and purity, but there's a subtle decline in spiritual energy. The book uses the analogy of a mirror that's gradually becoming tarnished.
Okay,
The reflection is still there, but it's not as clear and bright.
gotcha. So what happens in the Copper Age? Things start to get a little messy there.
Yeah, the Copper Age is where negativity and ego start to creep in. As we identify more with our physical bodies and material possessions, things like anger, greed, attachment, they start to emerge. We lose touch with that inherent peace and contentment, and we start looking for fulfillment in external things.
That sounds a lot like our world today. Is that why the book calls it the Iron Age?
Exactly. The Iron Age is characterized by suffering, conflict, and a disconnect from our spiritual essence. It's a time when souls get really entangled in the material world, chasing after those fleeting pleasures and always battling for power and control.
So we've gone from Golden Age paradise to Iron Age. Well, kind of a bummer. Is there any way out of this cycle?
There is. Raja Yoga teaches that the cycle isn't just a downward spiral, it's a loop. Just as there's a descent from the Golden Age, there's also an ascent back to it.
Okay.
That's where the Confluence Age comes in.
Tell me about the Confluence Age. It sounds like a little beacon of hope here.
The Confluence Age is a period of transition, bridging the old Iron Age with the new Golden Age. It's a time of spiritual awakening where souls have the chance to reconnect with their true nature and prepare for that return to peace and harmony.
So it's like a cosmic reset button, a chance to clean up the mess and start fresh. But how do we do that? How do we break free from those negative patterns and shift into this Confluence Age energy?
That's where the teachings of Raja Yoga really come in handy. The Confluence Age is a time for settling karmic accounts, purifying our thoughts and actions, and reestablishing our connection with the divine.
Okay, let's talk karma. It's one of those words that gets thrown around a lot, but what does it actually mean in this context? I always thought it was about getting punished for things you did in the past, but this book seems to have a different take on it.
You're right, karma is often misunderstood. Raja Yoga explains it as the law of cause and effect. Every thought, word, and action creates a ripple effect. And it shapes our present and future experiences.
Right.
It's not about punishment. It's about understanding that we're not victims of fate. We create our own destiny through our choices.
So we're not just passively riding this Ferris wheel, we're actively shaping where it goes through our choices. That's kind of empowering and a little scary.
Exactly. And the Confluence Age is a perfect time to take a look at our karmic baggage and make some conscious choices that align with our soul's purpose.
How do we do that? How do we shift from creating negative karma to creating positive karma? Is it just about being good instead of bad?
It's more nuanced than that. Raja Yoga talks about 3 types of karma: neutral, impure, and pure. Neutral karma is what's created in the Golden and Silver Ages when our actions are naturally aligned with our soul.
Okay.
Impure karma is created in the Copper and Iron Ages when our actions are more driven by ego and attachment.
Right.
And pure karma is created during the Confluence Age and beyond when our actions are motivated by love, compassion, and a desire to serve the greater good.
So the key is to shift from self-serving actions to soul-serving actions. But how do we make that shift? That sounds pretty tough.
That's where the practices of Raja Yoga really shine. Meditation, visualization, positive affirmations, all these are powerful tools for purifying our thoughts and actions. They help align us with that Confluence Age energy. And as we cultivate these practices, we naturally start to create more of that pure karma that leads to more peace, happiness, and fulfillment in our lives. And it also helps create a more harmonious world.
I'm seeing how all these pieces connect now. By understanding the cyclical time and karma, we can approach life with more awareness. It's not about waiting for the golden age to come back around. It's about creating it now.
Beautifully said. The Confluence Age is a time of huge potential. It's a time for souls to awaken and co-create a future filled with love, peace, and harmony. Raja Yoga gives us that roadmap to navigate this time.
This has been incredible. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on time, karma, and my place in this whole cosmic drama. Thank you so much for guiding me through this deep dive. I feel inspired and ready to put these insights into practice.
It's been my pleasure. And remember, the power to create a more peaceful, fulfilling, and joyful life is already within you.
That's a perfect reminder. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Raja Yoga. Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep evolving.